Hi, welcome to Venture in Time and Space, my YouTube channel. This time I decided to do a different video. I am going to be doing my review of the 11th Doctor soon. Gotta work on what episodes I'm going to do, like a list of episodes I want to discuss and stuff like that. I'm not going to go into it. I'm just going to leave you hanging there. Uh, I know I've made one video that was nothing but my rant, but this time I'm doing it a little different. Um, a little of how I got into this fandom, how I became a Whovian. Um, it's there was a dare from one of my online friends from another game I play. We were talking about, this one actor that plays, and this is Doctor Who, not Doctor Who related, but this leads up to the why I end up watching the show. I was talking about Criminal Minds, and my friend knew Thomas Gibson from that show, but I know Thomas Gibson from Dharma and Greg when he played Greg, and very silly, hilarious actor. I mean, he could do a serious. He was so serious in Criminal Minds, and then seeing him in Dumb and Great. Well, we made a deal here. Um, he said, okay, if you watch Doctor Who, then find an episode of Dumb and Great, and I'll watch it if you watch an episode of Doctor Who. And I said, okay. And he says, we'll start with Rose, which is the Ninth Doctor. Um, and I end up saying, okay, six, not, yeah, 6 seasons. And he's like, later on, as we were talking, when I told him, he said, I didn't think you would make it 6 seasons to watch, the show. But that's how it started off, how I got into watching it. It was like kind of sort of like a dare type thing. I started with the Ninth Doctor with Rose. That is my first Doctor that I watched. It was a real Christopher Eccleston was that Ninth Doctor. And it was good. I loved him. I mean, he played the character really well. You know, I did this in my review. He just came out of the Time War, and he was like current version. No, I mean, he did have emotions, but when you just lost your race, your people, of course you're gonna feel this emptiness. And that's how Christopher Eccleston played this Doctor. And I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. He was really good. But the one Doctor I connect so strongly with is Matt Smith, the 11th Doctor, whom I'm going to be doing the reviews on next, because I already did the 9th and 10th Doctor. But Matt Smith, and whenever I do my review on that, then you will understand why I connect more with Matt Smith. But as I kept continue watching it, I told my friend, "Oh man, you got me addicted to this show." I mean, if it wasn't for his dare, I would have watched this show called Doctor Who. But I didn't mind it. I mean, I was up for new shows, and plus, my friend was always talking about it. My online friend was always talking about it, and I said, "Fine, I'll watch it." After I started watching New Who, is we all caught because it's different from the classic Who. And when I was watching the show and I heard people say it's called New Who, well, it came out and it was the show ended in 1989. I did my study on this, and then it was rebooted in 2005, brought back on the air by Russell T Davies, and that's when I started to get into watching it. Um, and I was like, oh, cool, this is fantastic. This is a great show. I love it. And I'm thinking back in my head, I was like, what makes this show so great? Why is it so interesting, and it leaves you hanging, and it just like nail biter type things. Um, so I decided, well, I'm gonna watch the classic Who and find out what the difference is. Why some people say this is new Who, and then there's classic Who. Well, I decided to watch some of the classic Who. Started out with the first Doctor, William Hartnell, and watch all the way. Haven't got to the sixth Doctor, but eventually gonna try to watch some of his episodes, to get the gist of them. I only watched 1 through 5, but I'm gonna try to get 6 and 7, just get the gist of basically. Um, so I watched Classic Who, the first William Hartnell, the first Doctor and the second Doctor with black and white. William Hartnell was really good because he was the one breaking the ground. And from what I've heard and talk, is that when his health was declining and his wife, is basically, I watched Adventure in Time and Space and Time. Sorry, mine's Time and Space, but the documentary is Space and Time. Um, it was a story about the making of Doctor Who. Now, I'm sort of went into this because it kind of gives you a little bit of a hint, a little bit insight about how this show first started out, and all this and that. And I will get in with this with the first Doctor. Uh, Basically, Sidney Newman went to a woman who worked for him and stuff like this to help, you know, get the show out. This new show called Doctor Who. And she was going through all the actors who she wanted to play. She wanted someone that was like a Mr. Christmas grandfather type, It just, she knew what she wanted to go to, and that's the reason why she went and talked with William Hartnell and get him to come on board. And then she also stuck to her guns because they wanted to cancel the show because she was over budget, and he instantly didn't want any bug-eyed monsters. And she got the guts to say, "Hey, look, And she explained because it was the Daleks that were the one that got Sidney Newman, when he said no bug-eyed monsters. The thing is she's the one that stood up and then she rode the bus into work, which she normally shouldn't, but she wanted to find out her target audience. She wanted to find out those people who are watching this show. And she was seeing these kids running up and down the bus going, exterminate, exterminate, exterminate. And the viewership went up to like 2,000 views. And it kept climbing up. And the thing of it is it was getting the kids interested. Make them sit on the edge, make them excited. Well, the thing is, it showed you how William Hartnell got chosen for this role, and it went through all this and that. And then his wife came and explained about his health because he was having a lot of health issues, and she was very concerned about it. And when it was time to let him go, and when I was watching this on this documentary, I cried too, okay? Because you could see his emotion when he got home after he found out. And you could see his emotions about this whole thing because he piled all this stuff into this character. And he put himself into this character and the emotions and everything. And I like to perform. I did skits and everything, so I can understand you piling things into a character that you either created or that you were chosen to play. And when you put yourself in there, emotional and stuff like that, and day after day, perform the same character, but different episodes. It does kind of, you become part of that character. It's part of you. But when they show who was going to take his spot as the next Doctor, he found out it was Patrick Thornton, or however you say that last name. And he said that was the right person to choose for the part that played the Doctor. He was the right choice. And after, when Patrick came in as a second Doctor, he had some pretty big shoes to fill, because William Hartnell was the father. He was the one who started it all. He was the one that set the show and the character of the Doctor, the first one to start the party. As you could say, the cornerstone, basically. If you're looking at a building, the cornerstone, basically. So every Doctor after Hartnell had big shoes to fill. So I started going back to classic Doctor Who. And the first, second Doctor were in black and white. And William Hartnell, there were some episodes I loved. And there were some episodes when they were, they were not that bad, but not too exciting. But I'm not going to get into it, because if I get to my new Who, I'm going to go to do reviews on classic Who, so I don't want to give a lot away here. But I'm kind of explaining. So basically, I consider myself a Whovian, even though I started with New Who. I went back and watched the classic Who to find out why a lot of these, find out about the show, and also find out and learn what is the passion of this show, why people are so passionate about Doctor Who. Now, it's a British show. Why would American watch a British show? Why would American concern themselves with Whovian if it's over in the UK? Well, the difference here is it's not very much difference. I mean, it's still a show is a show, no matter whether it's a show from another country or a show from United States, here in the US. It doesn't matter where the show's from. It's a show. And I like it because when I was watching the classic Who, the monsters, it was cheesy. It wasn't like the new Who. I mean, it was like low budget type stuff. And but what really made it work is that the stories were good. Tom Baker had some good stories, episodes and stuff. It was those episodes that gripped you. Now, I like a show that will leave you hanging on the edge or scared out of your wits. I grew up with Godzilla, with fire relieving, fire coming out of his mouth. I was a kid in that era that you sat on your edge and you was like sitting there waiting. And it's like, and then when something happens, you get back like this. You could like kind of get a little scared. To me, that was a show for a kid. Nowadays, there's no scary things for the kids anymore because they're afraid of, warping these little kids' minds, and just scarring them for life. Well, I got news for that. What do you think about Roadrunner? What do you think about Wile E. Coyote? All those cartoons that we used to watch when we were kids. Are we actually going to do those stuff? No. But we knew that stuff was make-believe. It wasn't real. And it didn't warp us. It didn't screw with us. It didn't mess us up our scars for life. It was entertaining. It was enjoyable. It gave us kids vivid imaginations. It gave us, we'll go out and play and we will be imagining certain things. And we will use this up here. Most kids don't. They don't use their imagination. They don't, it's like, oh, okay, It's like they'll sit in front of the computer and play games or the videos or all that stuff. And they don't do things normal kids, when I was a kid, would do. The thing is, I do love Doctor Who. I consider myself a true Whovian. Even though I became a Whovian when it rebooted. I never watched it when it first came out, before it got canceled. I never watched it around that time. I became a fan in the new Who that came back in 2005. To me, it doesn't matter if you watched the new Who and didn't watch the classics, then question yourself. Question, okay, am I, I like this Doctor Who, and you think it's new, and you think there's never, that was that's, you never knew about the classic Who. Well, then you're missing out. I mean, there's a whole new era to this show, Doctor Who. You got classic Who and you got new Who. And you got two different eras. One is in this era, and then you got one that's from 63 to 1989. Now, all I have to say here is, if you watch New Who, go back and watch some of the classics. If you don't like it, then fine. If it's not something, but go back and watch some of the classic Who to find out why is the show so, people are so passionate about this show. Now, there's a lot of things that a lot of people in the new Who, you got some people that start watching New Who when the 13th Doctor came up and think, oh, that's Doctor Who. But then they don't watch Classic Who or the other episodes before the 13th Doctor. Now, that's kind of slighted. I'm not holding it against you. But if you watch the Doctor Who with the 13th Doctor, if you didn't, it's like, oh, you get introduced Doctor Who with the 13th Doctor, watch the other Doctor Who's before the 13th Doctor and get a gist of what the show's like. You get these people out here that like the 13th Doctor, but then slay those people who've watched Doctor Who ever since it came out. Now, excuse me here. I know some people are not going to agree with me saying that, and I don't care, because, if you like the 13th Doctor, fine, no problem. I have no problem with you. That's your right, that's your view. But if you like the 13th Doctor, go back and watch the other Doctors and find out what the show was like. Don't say, okay, this, and this, the 13th Doctor, and this, and this. Go back and watch those other episodes with those other Doctors and get to learn about the show. Like I said, I started with New Who, the 9th Doctor with Rose. And then I went back and watched Classic Who and learned about what the show is. That's why I'm so passionate about it now. That's why I'm so passionate about it now. But that's why I'm so passionate about it. is because I know how rich this show is, how rich in, in history, in the way it is. I mean, I grew up with like black and white, which is Godzilla was black and white. You could see the Japanese, their mouths are moving faster than the English. I mean, that was that was really funny, but that was in black and white, and that got me sitting on my edge of my chair when I was a kid, you know. And that's the same thing I see as Doctor Who, the classic version. I could just see watching a kid when it came out, watching a kid around that time, sitting on the edge of their chair, watching Tom Baker, who has the energy of the Energizer Bunny, sitting on the edge and watching Tom Baker's episodes, or John Pertwee, or William Hartnell, or Patrick Thornton, or Peter Davison, or Colin Baker, or Sylvester McCoy. The kids sitting on the edge of their chairs, like going like this, okay, it was like waiting to see what's going to happen next. To me, if you have that, if you have kids sitting on the edge of their seat, dangling to find out what's going to happen next, that is a well show. That is a show rich in, in history, rich in I mean, it is a good show. But the way with the 13th Doctor, and I'm not going to slate and I'm not going to down or anything, okay? I'm not going to, but from the episodes that I saw for this 13th Doctor, some of the episodes didn't have the enemies that in some of New Who from 9 through to 9 and 12 and Classic Who. You didn't see those enemies in this 13th Doctor, her first season. Now, to me, that's, it's okay to come up with new enemies, but make them a little bit scarier. Make them sit in, but people are so, television producers and everything, and showrunners are afraid they're going to scare kids. They're afraid they're going to scare them and scare them for the rest of their lives. You're not. That's all I'm saying. It's not going to scar them. You're not going to scare them. Make things scary because it's going to make them sitting on the edge of their chair, wanting to know, waiting for the air shoe to drop. They're going to be sitting there. It's like, okay, what's going to happen next? What's this doctor going to do next? What's to me, that's what makes a show interesting. That's what it makes. If it makes you sit on the edge, I mean, it's hard to explain what I mean by sitting on the edge. You see, it's just making you dangling, waiting, wondering what's going to happen or how it's going to end out. There's and so as I grew up with the cliff as a kid, you have cliffhangers, and they show these cliffhangers like right before summer starts. They would show cliffhangers, and then all through summer we had reruns, and then when the fall begins is when the new season starts. And it picks up and you have this cliffhanger, and you have to wait all through summer to find out, what the new episode is going to be. What's, after being left in this cliffhanger, not knowing what's going to happen until summer's over with. I know I got off on a tangent there. But the thing is I love Doctor Who. I'm passionate about it. I love it. I got a lot of stuff that's Doctor Who. I got one of the DVDs of the 11th Doctor. Um, like you said, I got this right here, which basically is a clock, by the way. I don't have batteries in it. And then I got my sonic screwdriver here. Well, no, this way. That's a highlighter there. But I got my sonic screwdriver. Then I got a coffee cup of the TARDIS, and I also got a thing to hang on the Christmas tree, a decoration, a TARDIS decoration. Now, you could say, oh, geez, she's got all this stuff. She's got all this Doctor Who stuff. That could be that can mean anything. That to me, that can mean anything. I'm sorry, I'm just doing this as it comes. I don't have a script or anything. Um, that could just mean that you know, uh, just because I like the stuff and I like the way it looks. No, it's because I am a Whovian and I want, I want that stuff. I want, you know, I want stuff that's Doctor Who collectibles. That that's something that reminds me of the show that I love. Um, I am not here to cause wars between those people who will disagree, those people who like the 13th Doctor, but I don't. But that's my right. Okay? I have that right. Like I said, if you like the 13th Doctor, fine. That's your prerogative. That's how you feel. And I respect that right. But before you judge or say anything, watch the other doctors. Watch some of Classic Who. Find out what this show is made of, what this show is like, before you start saying anything to us who's that we call ourselves true Whovians, before you start in on us and say, oh guys, you are not Whovians. Well, we are, because we went back and yes, some of us who started in the new era before the 13th Doctor and started watching the new Who, and then went back and started watching Classic Who, you know, to learn about why this show's so great like it is. That's what Two Whovian is. And they stick with the show through thick and thin. You know, I mean, not everybody from Classic Who or New Who like, there's some of us that don't like the same doctors from Classic and New Who. It doesn't change the matter of fact. It just shows that we love the show. Not everybody's gonna like the same doctors. I mean, I'm in a group on Facebook and we do a live, this guy does a live, you know, a live, a live call-in fan show. And there's times that he has callers talking about doctors they like and companions that they don't, that they do, and companions they like and companions they don't like. And they may not be the same ones that I like or I don't like. It's just that not all of us are going to like the same doctors or the same companions. But what doesn't change is our love for the show. That will never change. Like I said, not everybody is gonna love all the no one's gonna have like every doctor. There's always a new doctor, but it doesn't change the matter of fact that we just love this show, and it's for that love we stand up against those people who attack us because we know basically the history. We know how the show came about, or what was part of the show, and there's peoples that would pick apart certain things, like what Tom Baker said, or I'm put this, or an episode with Matt Smith, when he first whatever. I'm gonna leave that blank because I'm a review something like that. But none of us take little hints here and there and try to piece together, basically, why there's a female doctor, which is the 13th Doctor. I mean, we don't go looking for hints that, the BBC was silly hitting it out that there will be a female doctor. So, that's all I want to say. And like I said, there's a person who has a live chat, and he also does videos, slideshows and stuff. It's called a Tartarzone. And I'm giving a shout out for his channel. And so anyway, check out his channel. So basically, I just want to leave you with this one thought. If you like the 13th Doctor, I challenge you, go back and watch the rest of the Doctors. See what the show is made of. Don't go on assumption. Watch, like I said, watch the other Doctors. Get to understand what the show is about. Before you make any judgment calls, before you come after us, see what the show is about before we got this female doctor, the 13th. Do the research yourself. And if you like what's said, hit the like button. Or if you don't like, hit the dislike button, which is unlike, basically. And also, don't forget to subscribe. And leave your comments below. If there's anything you want me to talk about, or anything that's on your mind related Doctor Who wise, leave a comment below. And I will see it. And maybe in whatever comment you want, whatever you want me to talk about, you leave it in a comment below. Hopefully I'll be doing it in the next video. So like, subscribe, and share this channel. It's called Adventure in Time and Space History. And this is from my TARDIS. Bye.